Hello sunflowers, and welcome to the magical fairy forest. My parents live way back in the middle of the woods, and they keep building really cool stuff on their property, and over time, this area behind the house has come to be known as the Magical Fairy Forest. So today I'm going to be giving you a full tour of the Magical Fairy Forest. Before the Magical Fairy Forest was like the Magical Fairy Forest, it was really just like pathways that Dad kept mowed back here so we could walk through the woods. And my favorite place was back here in the back where the moss is so thick, it's literally like a carpet. So I wanted to start the tour here because I think for me, this was where the Magical Fairy Forest really started. Like as a kid, I just remember being back here barefoot and just sitting on the moss and just truly feeling like a fairy outside, whether I was like reading or writing songs or crafting. I loved sitting back here in this moss. I'm pretty sure the first thing that they added to the fairy forest was the outhouse. And this is not just your normal outhouse. While it might be giving Shrek, this outhouse is complete with plumbing and electricity. So yes, the toilet does work, it does flush. The sink works. They've got a cute mirror and a lot of outhouse decor. I love the toilet paper holder that is an outhouse. And no outhouse would be complete without corn cobs. Next to the outhouse is one of the newest things that they built in 2022. This is their shower house. This shower house is easily one of my favorite places on earth. I grew up camping a lot, and so I've taken more outside showers than I can count. And this is like the ultimate like luxury outdoor shower. It's crazy. Let's just start with the view. The view itself is just amazing, overlooking the pond. Dad recently put in a couple different shower heads, including a rain shower. To the right of where you actually shower is a little changing area. The Camp Lux is what they use to heat the water, and it actually is just heated by a gas propane tank. Mom's air plant is thriving. You just turn this on, come over here and click a button, and you have a shower. Continuing on from our shower house, over here we have the archway that leads into the Magical Fairy Forest. This archway is easily one of my favorite projects I have ever been a part of. If you can't tell, I was inspired by The Good Place, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And I love the wooden archway in The Good Place and thought that it would be absolutely beautiful to bring something like that into the Magical Fairy Forest. So last fall, my parents and Josh and I built this archway out of cedar. It's really, really sturdy. It's holding up really, really well so far. On each side, we have a post that's set into the ground. Then we actually had a piece of like a metal hog fence that had been in the barn for like 30 years that we were able to bend into an arch to give it something like metal and sturdy to hold everything onto. And from there we went in and individually screwed every single piece of wood together while doing our best to hide all of the screws as much as we could. Over here beside of our archway, we also have the signpost into the Magical Fairy Forest. This might just look like a super magical tree, but it's actually a branch of a tree that had fallen off in my grandma's horse field. And Dad dug into the ground and set it just like you would a post. And we were able to use that to hang the sign for the Magical Fairy Forest. I did weatherize this, but this wood is not holding out nearly as well as I thought it would. So I honestly should probably sand this down and re-wood burn this sign because it's not looking too great. Y'all might have noticed our concrete mushrooms down here. They have been here for over a year and they're doing so well. If we go through the archway into the Magical Fairy Forest and then take a right, you'll come across the treehouse. The treehouse is the first thing in the Magical Fairy Forest that I felt like I really got to help with. Now, to be fair, I was 10 years old, so how much helping did I actually do? I'm not sure, but I remember putting some of these nails in myself. Have you guys seen those videos going around about how tree houses aren't real? I'm here to say that tree houses are real. At least they are here in the Magical Fairy Forest, because about 20-something years ago, 21 years ago roughly, my parents and I built this tree house, and it is still standing to this day. And we actually have some upcoming plans for this tree house that I'm going to be bringing y'all along on the journey with. I think this fall, when it's not 10 billion degrees, we are going to be building steps that come down from the treehouse. Because if I'm being honest with you, this ladder is actually quite terrifying. And lastly, I want to show you how the magical fairy forest got its name. While we've been walking around, you might have noticed some of these buckets all throughout the woods. These are actually lights, and at night we can turn them on and light up the whole magical fairy forest. Here, let me show you. This is the magical fairy forest at night. In total, they have 26 of these little lights out in their woods, and don't worry, they don't leave them on all the time. They don't even turn them on every day, not even every week. Just if they're going for a walk in the woods or maybe having some people over for a bonfire. I think one of the biggest compliments that I ever receive is whenever people meet my parents and then they say something along the lines of, "Oh, you make so much sense now after I met your parents." My parents are both retired now. My dad worked in construction. My mom was an elementary school teacher. And it's just been so amazing watching them take their combined creativity and just ability to make everything magical. So when I'm in the fairy forest, I just try to soak it in and let it be like a reminder to myself that no matter how big or small, we can make little changes in our life to make things just a little bit more magical every day. So my parents, if you're watching this, and I know that you are because you're always so sweet and amazing and watch all my videos and I love you. Thank you for making my life more magical day after day and year after year. Thank you for putting together incredible things like the magical fairy forest and for having me be a part of it and for letting me share it with everyone else who's watching. And to everyone else who's watching, thank you so much for coming along with me on this tour of the magical fairy forest. If you're new here, welcome to the Sunflower family. I'm Auna. I'll see you in the next one.